Good afternoon. I have returned with another. I'm just gonna leave that in. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? It was supposed to be with yet another tale of something which I hadn't quite come up with, but whatever. Hello. I'm back. And today I will be talking about perspective and empowerment, because I think the two go together. This kind of what I've been experiencing has taught me a lot. Like, it's really taught me a lot. So I thought I would relay the tale to people so they could perhaps gain some perspective themselves. We shall see. It might help somebody, it might not. But anyway, so I've been making the same video for 2 days now on empowerment and how I am having more and more empowering moments and that, and like really kind of learning to stand in my own kind of power and that. Like, before I got really depressed, so if you go back in my videos, like, they stopped for a while and I got really down and depressed because everything had just gone shit and that, and I got really depressed and started feeling like I just don't want to be here anymore and just feeling really shit, and that kind of feeling has continued. But before that I was like on one, I would say, and I was like, not drinking. I was eating, pretty much a 90% vegan diet. I was like down in my clothes size, and I was like really happy and really kind of like empowered, and I was like, yes, I've got this, just kind of like very empowered by everything my guides had told me and everything like that. And then things started to fall apart, and that's how I perceived it. I'm sure it's all happened for a reason, and probably so I can learn what I'm learning now, which is my own empowerment. Although I had it before, I didn't fully understand it. Like, I was standing in my own power before, but not fully kind of seeing it, because again, I was not in the present moment fully, and that, still kind of worrying about the future and worrying about this and worrying about that, and not in the present moment fully. And now I'm more in the present moment. Like, I'm going day to day, hour by hour, just going with the flow of things rather than trying to control everything. And I started drinking again when I was depressed, and I put weight on. Like, I'm really out of shape at the moment, and I just I've been feeling really shit about myself and everything, just feeling really, really crap, because I work so hard. Like, I work so hard on myself, and my wifey dying just totally knocked me down. I had to go at this photographer bloke, and that just totally, it wasn't who I was trying to be. I'm trying to be the best possible version of myself, but I'm not kind of making any allowances for still being human. And that's why I'm possibly pushing myself a little bit too hard, which is typical me. But now I've kind of cut myself some slack, but I'm finding more empowerment in that slack that I've cut myself in. Okay, so this is what I experienced. I was having a shit day, and I was going to drink alcohol, and I haven't been drinking because it's been making me feel shit. Every time I drink, it makes me feel shit, because I quit completely And then I sort of started up about, and it's not doing me any good. And it's like bashing my head against the wall and getting the same results every time. It fucking hurts and it makes me feel shit. Yeah, I keep kind of going back to it. It's like a crutch, you know, just take the edge off a little bit. But I'm not getting anything out of it, and it's like making my skin shit and just making me feel crap. So like I was having a bad day, and rather than go and get a cider out the fridge, I was like, no, fuck it, I'm going to have water. And in that moment, it was like, you know, I really saw that choice to kind of override how I was feeling and have water instead. And I really enjoyed my water more than I would have enjoyed the cider, because the cider would have made me feel a bit crap, because that's what alcohol is doing. I'm not saying this for everyone by any stretch. This is just what I'm experiencing. And that, like, everything is a personal choice, you know, it's totally down to you. But I like, judging by my skin and everything like that, alcohol just, you know, it has a very bad effect on me. Like, I have rosacea, which is like where your skin has like a red kind of tint to it, but it's kind of gone now since I've stopped drinking. I ended up drinking that day. I ended up having some alcohol. I ended up having a couple of ciders, and I had some wine, and then I had more cider, and it just made me feel shit. So I was like, you know, I knew it was going to do that. I gave in because I was just like, oh fuck it, I just don't give a shit. Like, fuck it, I need a drink. You know, I'm just not going to beat myself up over it or anything like that. But it was that moment of just choosing to have water over alcohol, that empowerment that I got from that moment. It doesn't matter whether I gave in afterwards, but that moment, that's like the present moment when I chose not to. And the power, the empowerment that I had from that. And then I'm like, right, okay, I'm feeling shit. This is where the perspective comes into it. I'm feeling shit. I'm feeling really bad because I've got to go see a psychiatrist. I've got to go see my psychiatrist, and like I just don't want to go because I feel like I'm really misunderstood and everything like that. But you know, that's how I'm feeling. That's just how I feel. Like, nobody fucking understands me. Like, the people in my life just don't understand. And like, you know, I've been called crazy and like all this stuff. You know what people think of you. Like, you know what people think of you. And everyone has their own perception of you. And like, you know, nobody wants to kind of have people thinking shit of them, and I don't care, but at the same time I do care, because I'm like, I'm not crazy, but I am crazy, but I'm not, but I am, you know, just like, and it's like my psychiatrist's opinion matters to me, and I felt at that time that it was really important to kind of explain everything that had happened and why I was behaving the way that I was behaving and everything like that, and you know, try and kind of get some understanding, because I'm like, I'm sure I'm not fucking psychotic. I may be acting it, but I'm sure I'm not. And that, you know, and it's like making me feel shit not having that understanding. And that is making me feel shit. So I talked to some friends. I talked to one in the real world who I've just like made a new friend and kind of gained his perspective on it, because he hasn't known me and he doesn't know anything about anything. So I just wanted to gain, like, from somebody that doesn't know anything about me, like, you know, that kind of perspective of how I come across, and, you know, just have that understanding of how I'm perceived by that person. Like, because although I think I know how people see me, everyone sees you differently. you can know that people see you a certain way, and it doesn't mean that they actually do. Like, you can know it. You can say, I know this person sees me like this. I know what this person, you can, and each person will perceive you differently. Only you kind of, are with you 100% of the time, so really know what you're all about. Like, only you have that perception of you. Other people might see that in you, but only you really know it. And I was like, I've been putting a lot of kind of not weight, but a lot of my feelings. I've been feeling quite bad and quite tearful when I have to go for my injections and everything like that, because it's like, I feel like they're saying that there's something wrong with me, and that's it, that I'm never going to get better, and that's me now. And it took like talking to my mum to really gain a different perspective on that, because I see the way that they're treating me, and I'm like, it's damaging me, it's like this, it's like that. And she said, this is why they're treating you like this is what they're trying to achieve, like, this is why they're treating you the way they are. And it was listening to that and gaining that perspective on it, and now I can see a lot more clearly, like, and I don't feel so bad. Like, this dark cloud that's kind of been hanging over me has really shifted. And I like my psychiatrist, I do. I don't not like him. He's got really kind eyes, and I know I can talk to him. But it's like, I can bombard people as well. Like, I have a habit of bombarding people with fucking information and shit, because that's just me. I know that I can be quite full on and stuff. Again, it's just me, and I want everyone to kind of understand me. And a lot of people feel misunderstood, and a lot of people feel like they're alone in their thoughts and everything like that. And in truth, I think the more you kind of question, so the more you question what you are thinking and why you are thinking it, the more perspective you gain. Even if you're just asking yourself, like, even if you're just saying, why do I feel this way? Like, why do I feel this way? Like, is it some past thing that's made me feel this way? Or is this a new thing? Like, why am I feeling this way? And a lot of, like, negative feelings and things like that will come from certain places and certain situations and stuff like that. And they will create, like, the mental illnesses and things like that, like depression and stuff like that, because your mental processes are kind of taking you down that feeling of, like, feeling bad and feeling shit. You're not optimistic, you're pessimistic, and you're just not kind of, as you should be, because you're thinking, and we all think quite a bit. Or, I mean, some people don't think at all, but, like, I think people that are watching this video will be thinkers, and they'll be thinking quite a bit. So yeah, it's good to just really gain some perspective, and then, like, look at these little moments of empowerment. Like, say you're gonna eat a sweet and you decide not to. That's empowering. That's like you going, no, it's not good for me, I'm not gonna do that. And take that as, like, standing in your own personal power. It was like I was saying the other day with borderline personality disorder. Like, I was literally doing the tick list of, like, what it was, and I was ticking all the boxes, and then I realised that it's not who I am at my core, it's like badly learned behaviour, like coping mechanisms, impulsive behaviour and stuff like that. And it was down to me to change and to not do that, no matter how strong the impulse was, to just be like, no, and, you know, really stand in my own power, and, you know, just say no, and that. And I think that's important for a lot of people, because especially when you're feeling weak and vulnerable and things like that, it doesn't mean that you are weak and vulnerable, it's just how you're feeling in that moment. And kind of like saying no when you're feeling weak and vulnerable, like, you shouldn't beat yourself up for doing that, for, like, you know, cracking because you feel weak or you're feeling like really vulnerable and stuff. Like, you know, everyone has their moments where they feel like that, you know, and it's not like beating yourself up over things either. Like, I could beat myself up over so much, like, I've fucking eaten meat again, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, Elena, can you please stop eating bloody meat? No, not loads of it, just like little bites here and there. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I had pizza again with cheese on it. Oh my god. Just because it's convenient doesn't mean you should be doing it. But, you know, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Like, I'm busting my ass just to be alive. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. You know, it's something that I want to achieve. I don't want to eat meat anymore. I don't particularly enjoy it. It makes me feel really dense and heavy, and, you know, but then, like, I'm craving it, and I'm like, oh, you know, I've done vegan, I've done vegetarian, I've done fucking just where you eat fish, I've done all of it, and, like, I can't help being weak. And I can't help being vulnerable at times. It's very difficult, especially like when you're going through shit. When you're going through shit, not to fucking be like that, but take the little moments. That's what it's all about, is the little moments of empowerment, the little moments of, like, feeling like I've achieved something. And that, and fucking celebrate it. Why the fuck not? You know, you're busting your ass to be here in this really uncertain time. You know, take those moments and fucking celebrate and be like, yeah, I've achieved something. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is, even if it's just doing the dishes. I have days and I can't face doing the dishes. Like, I'll literally just be like, I just can't fucking do it. I just can't do it. And I'll have to get my kids to do it. I'm like, please, can you help me? Because I just can't do this. You know, I feel so shit. Please, can you help me? And they're there and they're good and they help. You know, and they understand that I'm struggling at times. I'm not struggling all the time, but I'm struggling at times. You know, and they feel for me. I feel for them when they're struggling too. You know. It's just how things are, and you go through it and you get through it the best that you can. You just do your best. And a lot of people are doing their best and, you know, not seeing that they're doing their best and kind of beating themselves up and feeling shit about themselves, and, you know, you're doing your best with everything that you're faced with. And I think, like, everyone at this time is faced with something or other, whether it's directly or indirectly. Like, you know, people are just faced with shit. I see a lot, like, in the spiritual communities and that, like, the amount of people requesting prayers for people, themselves, other people, and that, like, the amount that I'm seeing it in my news feed has gone up, you know. So, like, I'm sending out a lot of prayers and things like that, because the amount's gone up, because everyone, you know, is going through something at the moment. And sometimes it's like, you know, just taking a step back and kind of trying to gain a bit of perspective, or like a different perspective on things. Like the universe has been sending me things so I feel more grateful and that, and like, you know, I'm in that attitude of gratitude, even though I'm struggling and I'm having a shit time some of the time, and like, you know, I'm still kind of with that attitude of gratitude for what I have, because I know it could be so much worse, and that's important. Anyway, that was what I wanted to say, and I've recorded this video 2 times before, and it's still the same thing, but it's changed from what I was like originally going to say, because I've gained perspective on what I wanted to say. Like I made a video yesterday and I was feeling really shit and really down, and then I went away and I spoke to some people about how I was feeling, and kind of, you know, just gained that perspective, and it's really helped. It's really helped me a lot. I feel so much better, like a huge dark cloud's been lifted. So yeah, okay, each day as it comes, take those little moments as wins, you know, just those little moments. You've got to like really kind of focus on those. Okay, cheerio.